ball swinging in, and it's a fair ball, and Wayzata wins it. Tampa Park back to state for the third straight year.
Hello and welcome to Sports Jam for the week of January 8th. I'm John Jacobson.
And I'm Jay Wilcox. Today on the show, hockey, wrestling, and gymnastics highlights. We'll meet a talented hockey and soccer player from Maple Grove in our Sports Jam Spotlight.
Plus hear from the Osseo boys basketball team after a big win over Park Center. First up, girls basketball. Maple Grove has one of its better teams in recent years. The Crimson's 3 losses have all been against quality opponents. Friday night, the Crimson looked to improve their conference record to 4-1 as they travel to Armstrong, take on a Falcons team looking for a second straight win. Masengo Matanda missed the Falcons' first 7 games with an injury, but is now back in the lineup and scores nearly 2 of the paint. Alyssa Hansen comes off the bench and knocks down a couple of baseline jumpers in the first half. This one pulls Armstrong back to within 3. But most of the game, it's Maple Grove taking it to the Falcons. Autumn BLAINE grabs an offensive rebound and scores. It's 23-12 Crimson. Katrina Tice shovels the pass to Abby Schulte, who scores as Maple Grove takes a 31-14 lead into halftime. After not scoring in the first 3 minutes of the second half, the Crimson get their offense going again. BLAINE for 3. She scores 24 points in the game, 17 after halftime. Schulte picks it clean here on the steal and lays in 2 more. 8 points for the sophomore guard in the game. Tice adds 12 points for Maple Grove. The Crimson improved to 8-3 on the season with a 58-30 win over Armstrong. Despite a holiday tournament loss to Eastview, the Hopkins girls basketball team is still one of the best in Minnesota, maybe the best on some nights. The Royals girls and boys teams face 2 South Dakota high schools over the weekend. Hopkins at home to play Sioux Falls Lincoln on Friday. First half, and the Royals on the run. Maya battled the great feed to Raina Suggs for the layup. Delela Shukolitz takes a pass, makes a nice spin move to the basket, scores the hoop off the glass. Hopkins leads Lincoln 48-22 at the half. Second half, the Royals expand their lead. Suggs with a rainbow 3, 19 points in the game for her. And then Suggs passes to Paige Beckers, who quickly finds Shukolitz open for 2 more, plus a foul. Shukolitz also scored 19 for Hopkins. Kira Mosley comes off the bench and adds 13 points, including this 3 as Hopkins wins big 79-38. They also routed Sioux Falls, Washington on Saturday.
Now to boys hockey. With just 5 teams in the Lake Conference, Wayzata gets to schedule an interesting cross-section of non-conference games. The Trojans hosting St. Louis Park in Plymouth. Second period, the face-off ping-pongs around before Jonathan Sorensen pops it in for an Orioles goal and a 1-0 lead. Later in the second, the Trojans draw even as the shot by Luke Money is redirected in by Griffin Ness, and it's 1-1. Third period, a good forecheck by SLP, and Sam Baker turns and fires for the goal to put the Orioles up 2-1. Wayzata appears to tie it as Colin Schmidt shoots and scores, but the officials confer and the goal is waved off. St. Louis Park adds an empty netter by Sorensen and goes on to win 3-1. Wayzata did bounce back to beat Moorhead in overtime on Saturday.
The Maple Grove boys hockey team is in the middle of a stretch of tough games. They took on one of the top teams in the North Division of the Northwest Suburban Conference Thursday night. Crimson hosting Centennial. First period, a nice move by Centennial's Lucas McGregor. He scores in the backhand for a shorthanded Cougars goal and a 1-0 lead. Late in the first period, McGregor sets up Jack Menny and he pumps it in. Centennial is up 2-0 after 1. Second period, McGregor threads the needle to Menny for another shorthanded goal, and it's 3-0 Cougars. Centennial gets 2 more goals in the third period. They win it over Maple Grove 5-1. One of the top regular season meets in boys swimming was held Saturday at the site of the state meet, the U of M Aquatic Center. In the top division at the Maroon and Gold Invitational, Minnetonka takes the gold title, well ahead of runner-up Stillwater. Eden Prairie is third, Wayzata places 5th, and Breck Blake 6th. In the bronze division, Hopkins places 3rd behind winner Eastridge and runner-up Centennial. Osseo is 13th in the bronze. Maple Grove is 2nd in the Tiger division behind winner BLAINE. Bengals finish 6.5 points ahead of the Crimson.
Many of the state's top Nordic skiers also got a chance to test out the site of the state meet as they traveled north to Biwabik and Giants Ridge. At the huge Mesabi Invitational, Forest Lake wins the boys' title, edging out Stillwater and Mounds Park Academy. Locally, Hopkins is the top team, placing 18th with Maple Grove 20th and Maple Grove 25th. In the girls' meet, Stillwater is 7 points better than runner-up Forest Lake. Duluth East is 3rd and Ely 4th. Wayzata places 11th, Hopkins 20th, and Maple Grove 33rd. Closer to home at Worth Park, Armstrong is one of the host teams at the Loppet Invitational. The Falcons girls, state runner-up last season, placed 3rd behind Highland Park and Eastview. May Barnes of the Falcons won the classic race. Armstrong's boys finished 2nd, 10 points behind winner St. Paul Highland Park. And so the weather turning now a little bit warmer for some of these ski meets.
Right now we'll have a conference section all coming up here in a few weeks. Stay with us. Coming up here on Sports Jam, boys basketball highlights, plus a big gymnastics meet in Brooklyn Park. Welcome back to Sports Jam. And Jay, you saw quite a boys basketball game last week at Osseo.
Yeah, Park Center and Osseo, a game that really started out very sloppy but turned into a classic at the end. Park Center hoping to beat the team that eliminated them in the section playoffs last season. DJ Purnell drives it to the hoop and scores on the finger roll for Park Center. They grab an 11-6 lead. Osseo's dynamic duo proves tough to stop. Zach Theisen hits a 3 plus the foul on his way to a 28-point night. And Emmett Page sees the lane open up as he drives in to score 2 of his 19 points for the Orioles as Page and Tyson carry the scoring load. Jarius Cook steps in for the steal and breakaway dunk for the Pirates. It's tied 25-25 after a sluggish first half. Second half and the team's trade runs. Johnson Fowler hits a big 3 to give Osseo a 42-37 lead. Park Center storms back as Kahari Broadway steals the pass and sends it to Emmanuel Tamba for the layup. And a 52-50 Pirates lead with under a minute left. Down by 3 late, Tyson doesn't hesitate and he hits a huge 3 that ties the game 53-all and we go to OT. In overtime, 6'9" Dane Danger goes coast to coast for the layup and it's tied 59-all. Osseo's Chike Okonkwo goes to the line with 1.8 seconds left and he hits the first free throw to give Osseo the lead. The Orioles win 60-59 in overtime. We'll hear from the Orioles later in the show.
The Hopkins boys basketball team has not lost since its season opener 5 weeks ago. The state's top-ranked Class 4A team played at home Friday night against Sioux Falls Lincoln High School. Kerwin Walton hits an early three-pointer for Hopkins as the Royals take a 12-3 lead. Watch Zeke Najee on this play. He gets a steal, saves the ball inbounds to Anthony Davis, and then takes the return pass from Davis to jam it home. Najee scores 18 points in the game. The lob from the wing goes to Dane Zimmer, who scores and is fouled. Zimmer scores a dozen points on the night. The Royals offense hitting from everywhere. Blaze Beauchamp. Look at the distance on this three-pointer. Hopkins takes a 54-26 lead into halftime. In the second half, it's Beauchamp stepping into another three-pointer. The sophomore leads all scores with 25 points. And then Hopkins in transition off a steal. Zimmer to Davis for the one-handed flush. Hopkins wins big 93-59. They also beat Sioux Falls, Washington on Saturday and are now 12-1 on the season.
The Brooklyn Center boys basketball team is currently ranked 5th in Class 2A. The Centaurs carried a 7-2 record into their non-conference game at Providence Academy last week. First half, and the Centaurs trapped the ball handler in the front court and caused a turnover. Ventrell Douglas to Malik Harud and then to Lakai Patterson for the layup, and an 11-0 Brooklyn Center lead. Another steal for BC leads to 2 more. It's Rudwan Tahir with an assist on the bucket by Harud, and the Centaurs lead by 16. Ariel McDonald's Lions have trouble scoring. They do get 2 here when Logan Blomberg follows his miss to score 2 of his 6 points in the game. The Centaurs, though, are too much. Amon Decker from above the block spots Patterson for an open corner 3. Patterson leads all scorers with 21 points. BC leads 36-11 at halftime. Second half, and Patterson picks up an assist, feeding Tahir for the 3 from the wing. The sophomore nets 9 points in the game. Nice move by Adrian Sprinkles, driving from the wing and twisting to the basket for 2 of his 18 points. Brooklyn Center wins big over Providence. 71-27 is the final. Maple Grove's boys basketball team started with 3 wins, followed by 3 losses, and they're now back on a winning streak. The Crimson at home to take on Armstrong. Nice offense by the Falcons here as Tyler Peterson from the high post finds Jake Breitbach on the baseline cut for 2 of his team-high 17. Nassim Lozier takes it all the way for the layup as Armstrong surges into the lead 23-22. He scores 17. But Maple Grove closes the first half strong. Jordan Stensland knocks down the jumper from the top of the key for a long 2. Daniel Waljasper steps into a 3 from the left side to give Maple Grove its biggest lead. They're up 34-25 at the half. Second half, and Nate Adams bombs a 3 for the Crimson. He has a great game off the bench with a game-high 24 points. Jared Rainey drives to score a tough layup for the Crimson. Armstrong rallies to make it interesting, but Maple Grove wins 56-51.
The Wayzata boys basketball team carried a 5-game winning streak into a Saturday matinee game against a Benilde St. Margaret's team playing some good basketball this season. Coach John Moore and the Red Knights at home for this one. Benilde's Liam Ford catches the pass above the block, turns into the lane, scores and is fouled. Red Knights grab a big early lead. A couple of minutes later, it's Riley Miller draining a long three-pointer on his way to a 17-point game, and it's 21-3 Red Knights. Great entry pass from Gabe Alata to a cutting Nick Peterson for 2 more. Benilde extends its lead to 28. Just before halftime, Ford sends a long pass ahead to Joe Dunn, who beats the buzzer with the layup. Benilde leads 53-27 at halftime. Dunn scores 18 in the game. Coach Brian Schnettler's Wayzata team much more competitive in the second half. Jacob Benninga making the catch-and-shoot 3, one of 3 Trojan players to score in double figures. But Benilde maintains a double-digit lead throughout. Ford leads all players with 26 points. Benilde wins this one 84-61. The MGGOA gymnastics meet is sponsored by the Judges Association, and this year brought together a handful of local teams and some of the state's best teams in Class A and AA. Park Center High School, the site on Saturday for the 16-team event. Teams are split into 2 divisions, and Breck wins Division 2. Mustang Sailor Hawkins scores an 8.75 to finish second on the balance beam. She wins the floor exercise on the way to winning the all-around title for her division. Cheney New was the defending state class AA champion in the floor exercise. She scores a 9.4 for this routine and placed 5th, although later won the vault for Division 1. Maple Grove has the highest finish among local teams. Crimson senior Nadia Abid turns in the best score for her team on the uneven bars with a mark of 8.8. Abid placed 3rd on the beam. Park Center's Anna Kalia is the Pirates' top all-rounder. She scores an 8.375 on the bars. Later went 9.4 on the beam to place 5th. The Division I team winner is Detroit Lakes. 2 Lakers placed in the top 4 on the balance beam, including Jackson Haig here, who placed 4th with a 9.45. If you check the results, Detroit Lakes, the easy Division I winner with a score of 148.90. Lakeville North is second, 1 point ahead of rival Lakeville South. Maple Grove is 4th at 144.025, with Champlin Park 6th and Park Center 8th. Breck wins the Division II meet, scoring 134.075. North St. Paul is 2nd, and Coon Rapids 3rd.
Maple Grove is in the lean and mean category in the Class 3A wrestling ranking, just outside the top 12. They hosted a 4-team meet on Thursday. Alumni night as the Crimson welcome back former wrestlers. Highlights of their match against Ticino Grace. Maple Grove gets off to a good start as Max Johnson pins Michael Loger in the 106-pound match. Maple Grove's Joey Thompson is ranked number 1 at 113 pounds in Class 3A, and he rolls to a tech fall over Bryce Erkenbrack of Grace. Grace's Jake Sveal is number 1 at 113 in Class 2A. He wrestles at 120 in this one, and he pins Dylan Schultz. It's part of a stretch of 3 wins in a row for the Eagles. Maple Grove gets a big win at 145 as Mitch Rengel breaks a 5-5 tie late in the match, and he pins William Jager. The Crimson leads at 21-16 after this victory. Dakota Aiken gets the takedown on Bear Bowman in the 170-pound match on the way to a 16-1 technical fall as Maple Grove wins 43-30. They also beat Irondale and Buffalo at that meet and won the Minnetonka tournament. Saturday, several local teams grappled at the Brooklyn Center Invitational. Wayzata takes the top spot easily with 205.5 points. Champlin Park is second with host Brooklyn Center. Concordia Academy placing fourth, and Park Center is seventh. And we will have our first two wrestling telecasts of the winter coming up later this week.
Including the Robbinsdale Rumble later this week. Coming up next in our Sports Jam Spotlight, meet a Maple Grove girls hockey standout who also had an exceptional year on the soccer field. Maple Grove's enjoyed success in several girls' sports over the past few years. In this week's Sports Jam Spotlight, we meet a two-sports standout who has played a key role in her team's winning ways.
Mannon McMahon has already played on 2 section championship teams at Maple Grove. She was a freshman on the Crimson's 2016 Class 2A runner-up hockey team, and just this fall was part of the first ever girls soccer team from the school to win a section title. The junior loves playing both and how each sport helps her in the other.
Yeah, definitely soccer. I mean, it impacts me in hockey too, and hockey impacts me in soccer too. So it's two sports that are kind of similar in a lot of ways. So it helps me in both sports. So it's really awesome.
I think athletes are athletes, and they're going to make plays whether they're playing one sport or 3 sports. For me, I like the kids to get off their skates and do something different. I think that passion and that love comes back, but they also have less risk of overuse or overtraining, and they possibly learn something in that other sport that can carry over that makes them a better hockey player.
One of the things she brings is her tenacity. She's very quick in her ability to cut side to side. It's a little bit, I go and watch her in hockey games, I see some of that same thing, that side to side lateral movement. She's comfortable with the ball underneath her, same thing, having that puck in between her frame. She can do both those things really well.
In soccer, Mannon scored 14 goals and added 11 assists for the state runner-up Crimson. The all-conference forward says the season was definitely a special one.
For me, losing to Centennial 2 years in a row in the section final and then finally beating them was an amazing feeling. And then being able to go to the state tournament was an unreal feeling, and it was so awesome.
A playmaker by nature, Mannon has been encouraged to be more of a scorer this hockey season. She's leading the team in both goals and assists, and has been an adjustment though.
It's different. It's definitely a different role for me. I've never been this role on a team before, so it's definitely got something to get used to, but it'll be cool to see at the end.
In her first 2 seasons with us, would try and pass the puck when she had opportunities to shoot, and we're trying to stress with her to shoot when she has a great opportunity, and it's been paying off for her and for us.
Maple Grove is currently ranked 9th in Class AA. Teammates say McMahon is great to play alongside.
I love Mannon, and she is such a hard worker, and she's been such a role model and a great captain too this year. And she just works hard every shift, and she's strong, and she just is forceful and going to the net, and she makes such an impact on this team. So I love being her teammate. It's super fun.
Though she loves both sports, Mannon admits hockey is her favorite and is verbally committed to play collegiately at Minnesota-Duluth. She's glad to have the recruiting and decision process behind her.
Yeah, I'm very excited. They have a great program with amazing coaches and amazing players there already, and I'm excited to see what they'll be able to do, and I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Maple Grove lost several talented seniors to graduation, and so McMahon and some of the other Crimson varsity veterans have helped a young but quickly maturing team improve as the season's gone on. An improvement they hope can carry them deep into the playoffs.
It's just coming to practice every day and working on those little things, and I think we've been doing a good job of it so far, so it's going to be exciting what we can do come sections and hopefully the state tournament.
Mannon had a goal and an assist in Maple Grove's 2-1 win over Farmington Saturday. For the season, she's now netted 15 goals with 16 assists. Crimson hosts 7th-ranked BLAINE on Saturday. Jay talks basketball with Osseo boys next.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. A thrilling win for the Osseo boys basketball team as they beat their big rival Park Center in overtime. As part of a pretty good start to the season, and we're joined by a couple of the seniors, starting with Zach Theisen. And boy, this was about as good as it gets down the stretch. How much does this help your team to have to battle through a game like this?
I mean, in the end, it'll just give us confidence in that we know we can compete with the 5th-ranked team in the state, and I mean, it just gets our confidence really high right now.
I don't know if anybody told you guys, but I think Park Center was kind of considered the favorite coming into this game. You know, did you guys play with a little chip on your shoulder because of that?
Yeah, coming into the game, coach told us, like, on paper these guys should kill us. Everyone was telling us that they should beat us. Other coaches did, and we just took that to heart and fought all the way through.
Talk about this start to the season so far. Obviously, you got a few key returners, but a lot of new faces. How do you feel like the team's played overall?
First few games were kind of rough, but now we're picking up the pace and we're building chemistry, which is huge right now.
In this week ahead, a section final rematch with Champlain Park coming up too, and I know obviously they've got a lot of new faces too, but is it a big game again when you play those guys, kind of a second rival as well?
Yeah, it's always a big game playing Maple Grove, Park Center, and Champlain, and since they beat us to go to state last year, this one we have marked on our calendars.
Jack, great job here tonight, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And hitting the game-winning free throw in the game against Park Center, Chike Okonkwo, how exciting was it to step up to the line there?
You know, like, I just had to stay calm. Like, that's the stuff that you practice, and the coach was always emphasizing free throws, free throws, free throws, so I was just ready for it.
We talked about before the game and during the game that obviously Emmett and Zach were going to get a lot of the shots in this game, but you're going to need some other guys to step up and come through. And, you know, how did that feel to be able to be one of those guys who really contributed to a huge win?
It was just a great feeling that I could help my team, like, get the win. Like, we're all happy about it, and we're proud of ourselves right now.
It's been kind of an unusual start to the schedule this year with not having any home games until January, but how do you feel like the team has played up to this point?
I feel like the start of the season, it was hard for us because we had to travel a lot, but now that we're back home, like, we can really play our hardest and our focus is right.
Obviously, Park Center is a team that you'll be playing again in the regular season, could play again in the playoffs too. You know, how much does it mean to kind of take round one, I guess, against those guys too?
It feels good, but we're going to have to come out next time, play even harder because they're going to be looking for us.
A lot of conference games coming up in the next, I know you've got Champlain Park and Armstrong in the next week. Is that the fun games when you get to play against, you know, teams that are more or less right around here and you know them pretty well?
Yeah, those are the fun games because we used to play with a lot of the guys back in the OMGBA when we were growing up, so it's always fun to play with them. We like to see how we all grow up and stuff, and it's always a good matchup.
Thanks for joining us, and best of luck the rest of the season here.
Thank you.
That's Chike Okonkwo coming through with a clutch free throw to beat Park Center for the Osseo boys basketball team. They've gotten off to a solid start this season and looking for more as they play against Champlain Park and Armstrong this week. We'll be back to wrap up Sports Jam in a moment, but first it's a look at our plays of the week. Back the other way, and Danger erases that shot. Jumps into the passing lane and throws it down. Three or a quick two, but no, they three right off the bat.
There's no better way to celebrate winter than at the Plymouth Fire and Ice Festival on February 3rd. Find out more at ccxmedia.org under Cities and in the Community. Don't miss the Maple Grove Polar Plunge to support Special Olympics on Saturday, February 3rd. Find out more at ccxmedia.org under Cities and in the Community.
Our game of the week is the Robbinsdale Rumble Wrestling matches. Cooper visits Armstrong. Watch it Friday night at 7 o'clock live on CCX channels 799 and 12 and online at ccxmedia.org, or catch the replay Saturday at 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. And that will do it for this week's show.
Next week we'll be with you starting Tuesday after the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. See you next time on Sports Jam.